Ishtakana, remix with Akon. You're one wrong, where this man come from? Mojin, Senegal Mojin. For Jamaican City Mojin. West Africa, to North Africa, East Africa, Addis Ababa. Have the same vision, Muslim and Christian. If we just listen.
It was a responsibility, you know, to be somewhat aware, like, because they know that the smarter that you was, you know, the less danger you would be to them. You had to be an intelligent hoodlum. You know what I'm saying?
True,
if I gotta worry about you, if I gotta think about you, and keep, you know what I'm saying, keep an eye and hold your hand and shit like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be extra work.
Oh yeah, true.
So it wasn't really you just had to be sharp. You had to have street knowledge. You know, is the best way to explain it.
Yes, sir.
You had to be an intelligent hoodlum. You just couldn't necessarily be a knuckle dragger, because you know that might endanger mommy. You know what I'm saying? We can't have too many knuckle draggers around. We used to regulate our communities. You know, this is when even a hustler, you saw potential in a child, where you like, I'm gonna pay for your sneakers, I'm gonna send you to this school, I'm gonna make sure they don't even do the bus trips no more. Right?
True.
We identify.
So we lost our humanity in the process.
Right.
You feel me? And I think when Cash Rule came around, you know, that mantra,
Right.
when they totally became, because just think about it, last time I probably heard about bus rides was like 94, 95.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Cash Rule comes in as a mantra, and it's stacking. You know what I'm saying? You're not even thinking about that.
Yeah, cash money click.
Right? Yeah. You that bread is going towards, you know, wells, ice now, and you know, people became cold in regards to how you condition the next generation to come up under you. It went from, you know, we don't love these hoes to we don't love these babies. And it wasn't like that in hip hop before. There was a mantra, you know what I'm saying, where you still spoke to these children and stuff like that.
Yeah, for real.
So look, after Yummy though, right? After that particular era with Pop, when niggas first got introduced to the Baby Killer by way of Yummy, right? From Chicago,
Right.
11-year-old, 9 or 11.
He was putting in work at 9.
He was putting in work at 9. I think they bodied him when he was 11. He was a stone cold killer. So, you know, when that aspect came in of the actual personification and personalization of the super predator, you know, niggas stopped caring too, man.
But
And everybody became an op. Before, it used to not be like that. Everybody was fair game.
right, but this is what I'm saying about programming. And programming is definitely not, I won't say responsible, but if all is mental and groupthink is real, thought forms are energies, right? Then we know that if we are collectively programmed by the same music, right, and we watch the same movies, and we watching the same videos, and we subscribing to the same mantras, right? Because they were not giving you just hooks, niggas was giving you mantras. Money, hoes, bank rolls, and clothes. Fuck
All the
bitches,
nigga
get
knows.
money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Get rich, die trying. These are mantras, right? So the code started to change. I would identify the crack era as the era that cracked the egg, right? That's the time that the egg have cracked. That's the crack in the egg and whatnot. That's when things started to change for the worse, and things began to erode and leak. Foundations were broken because never in a time prior to that did you have such a
This when Stripe was born from Gizmo. Nigga.
Stripe is born from Gizmo, and
Stripe
this is when
popped out of
Gremlins
Gizmo
come out,
back.
right?
The Gremlins,
So
man.
keep in mind, even with the rise, the break started when heroin hit, right? Because it began to, our people began to do something different.
Strange for some change, right?
Beyond just strange for a piece of change, you know, it affected the communities in a very different way than the upward mobility that we were, you know, that path that we were on prior to us being intercepted by King Heroin. So that's the erosion, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah.
the programming, right? We went from black exploitation movies where they were showing you the programming, right? Black men being active, right? They were hip and hopping against the man, Mr. Charlie. They were putting they were letting it dump on them, right?
True.
Some of the movies they were drilling, they were sending them up.
No
You
doubt.
feel me?
The block women.
Right.
Yeah.
Black, you saw our women, right? In the archetype of a Pam Grier and whatnot, they were giving you the quote unquote upper echelon of the archetype.
Yeah, Fred Williams.
I'm just saying of the
Yeah,
archetype.
that's
Where,
true.
especially for those of us who identify in Northwest of Mexico into this indigenous lifestyle, that's the archetype right there. Her whole makeup is a Indian queen or whatever you want to call it.
Yes, indeed.
Right?
True,
Coffee.
It's
You know what I'm
coffee.
talking about? And a few others. But they beating up, they whipping on the mafia and the mob, who during the Numbers era and everything prior to that, they were, as you can see in the Bumpy Johnson Godfather Harlem series, they were terrorizing Harlem,
That's true.
where melanated people took nickels and got themselves out of poverty by playing the numbers. That was created by Casper Holstein out of St. Croix, who was a janitor in Wall Street, and took that information that he was gathering, put it in a jumbo, and created the numbers game, policy banking in Harlem, and lifted up our people.
That's real.
Right?
You
No
saying
doubt.
we
Occlusion.
made the lotto?
Yeah, we made the lotto. The lotto comes out of them infiltrating the numbers, the policy bankers,
Yeah.
and whatnot.
And
But we
people
rose,
ate off
and that
that
spread
too.
all through the South and everywhere.
Yeah.
And you know, we got dream books for numbers now. It has a whole, it's, right. So the programming of, if you listen to 70s soul music,
Yep.
even when Curtis Mayfield and them was talking about the Pusher Man and all of that, it wasn't the most dominant message or of the program. It was subliminal. It was given the subconscious, which would be the underworld, the dark side, the streets, the gutter, the trenches, whatever you want to call it.
Right,
You
right,
feel me? The underbelly.
True, true.
But they had, but we also had a frequency of what is the most powerful energy on the planet, which is love. Those songs were created in love.
No
The
doubt.
resonance, the frequency was the highest, one of the highest ever recorded.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Give me a mixtape from Kimmit if y'all want to put it on the verses and the running, because I'm sure that that it was popping back then, but recorded.
Nah, because it's true, because when you check it, when they took two elements out the music, it was dead already.
Right.
The drum,
When they took love and God out the music,
Mm-hmm.
reading.
because
Oh, the
those
drum
two
and that.
elements, they took out.
You real.
You understand? Because right now, we supposed to be on divine timing, because that's what we're moving on.
Right.
We moving on divine timing,
No doubt.
right? But now, the mind state they got our youth on is what?
Demon time.
Demon time,
Right. But we could get into that.
right?
Yeah.
So
We
have to,
Mhm,
because
'cause
that's real.
think about this, right?
Yes, it did.
And I want to give us, let's go through a timeline of programming,
True.
right? For a New Yorker.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to speak from that standpoint, because, New Yorkers, we travel though. We multifaceted. We not just stuck in the boroughs.
Right,
Yeah.
the truth and right.
We soak up cultures, you know what I mean? We culture sponges.
Truth and yeah, yeah.
We birth cultures in different places.
Too much gay.
You know what I mean? We're exporters of swag.
True.
We are the DoorDash of being
Swag.
dashing, my niggas. Like, we're dashing through the
swag.
snow.
We door swag.
Or the 12,
through the
or the
snow.
400 horse.
Niggas had suicide
On the-
skis with niggas was fashionable in snowstorms. Nigga.
Anyway.
Yo, we were sophisticated
We had a
savages.
fit for everything. Niggas had
Hold on.
fit for ski
Rain.
ranges and we ain't even
Rain.
skiing.
Niggas had ski,
Niggas
the
was
whole
more
ski.
jiggier than any skier ever was, and we never been on a ski.
We were skiing on the D train.
Skiing on the D train.
Skiing
Niggas
to
had
Macy's.
goggles.
Niggas was skiing out of Macy's. Yo, we put on ski suits to ski out of Macy's with all of their polo. How about that?
How about
How
that?
about that one?
So you know,
Down the
Yes,
slopes.
it
I like
did.
In
that.
facts.
That's too
In
sad.
facts.
Facts.
That is facts, for real.
Facts.
but
Isotoners, nigga. All that.
Wait for the movie. Wait for the movie.
so my thing is, you know, we've been doing what we've been doing as long as it's been being done. You know, this time that we're in. So the programming that our generation received. I'm a 70s babies,
No doubt,
right?
70s.
We have a unique perspective, and this is not to shame anybody that was born later. You know what I mean? It has, because everybody has their everybody. It's perspectives. It's
Yeah,
about
because, you know,
it's
everything
about
is
it's
weird.
about being able to see things from a certain programming
Because you
standpoint.
gotta understand my
Our-
point too, before you even go there, King,
Yeah.
is that 70s was where the Afro was. You
Yeah,
understand?
we seen that.
Yeah,
It was the switch, though.
The Afro, because you
Right.
gotta remember,
We had
remember
one
say
foot
Soul
in.
Train in the 70s.
Right.
It was different than when it got all the way up into the
seen
other
some
eras.
things.
Right.
The 70s was the bell bottoms, you know what I'm saying, the real true soul, the swag when we dancing together,
time.
kicking feet. So we was already there.
Can I tell you? Can I?
You know what I'm saying?
Can
And
I?
our health was great.
Right,
There
right.
was no
We were
there was
glowing.
no fat people.
We don't fat people.
We have
Huh?
primary
You think about
source.
that? In the 70s.
About all the
Look,
time.
we got primary source,
Here we go.
and that's the Ebony and the Jet magazine page. What was the page that they had the Beauty of the Week on the?
That beauty.
48.
Huh? The Jet Beauty. But
Was
what
that
page was she
48?
on? 48.
Am I
Page
right?
48 of the Jet magazines
know that.
is primary source
It's true.
that the black woman is gone,
For real, for
and she
real.
had walked into this earth back in the 70s.
Tories.
Like runaway statues out of a museum. The museum was missing some pieces because they was outside on Jet magazine. So the switch happened. I'm gonna tell you when afros turned into perms,
Ooh.
and my father put me on again.
And then don't forget.
Hold on.
Don't forget the Jerry curl.
No, but perms precede the Jerry curl. The black man
Precede that.
went
Yes,
into
it
the
did.
movie
The
theater to
perm
watch
did precede
Superfly
Jerry curl.
and came out with a perm.
Yes, it did.
That's what my father told me. He said black men went into Superfly with afros and dashikis
Yes, it did.
and came out with perms and leather coats. That movie, the programming. Keep this in mind. Like I said, we're in the in the fantasy industry,
True.
right? Where small hats have dominated that world up until today. Social media and the metaverse and everything. You go to a Bitcoin conference and tell me who's there, right?
True.
They're dominating the fantasy industry. They're behind the comics. They're behind the cartoon. They're behind Hollywood. They're behind the music, right? They're behind the toys. They're behind the porn industry.
True.
They're behind what else?
Commercial.
The commercials, advertising,
Everything.
marketing,
I mean,
through
there's-
Edward Bernays and whatnot. He gave them the blueprint.
Yeah. Don't forget the promoting of homosexuality.
So all of that programming
LGBTQ,
is being done
LMNT.
from a group of people,
And they done
right,
added in CBD.
who are in a place that we can identify, right? Especially for my Rastafarians out there
Yes,
living
sir.
in Zion,
Truth is.
right? For the brothers and sisters that are fans of the Matrix, and you know what Zion represents.
That's true.
So the Zion, you know, these people are the quote unquote string pullers, or the quote unquote the Wizard of Oz's, the man behind the curtain, that are controlling through programming through the fantasy industry. They're behind the video games.
That's so real. So real.
Hand in
Definitely
hand.
behind that.
Huh?
Yeah, indeed.
You know what I'm talking about?
No doubt.
So these individuals, right, have been able to manipulate through their influence with others playing the same, playing the game with them, right? All of our people. So the idea of becoming a pimp, right, and abandoning, because there was the scene where they stood down on the conscious niggas. That was the beginning, and it plays out with Sharif and Boys in the Hood. It plays out in Menace. It plays out to where they completely clowned out the conscious figure. They plays out in School Days.
They showed you it in the movie Panther.
They showed you it in Panther.
Yeah.
where they
The
paid the
FBI.
gang, the FBI
Gangs.
used the gangs to run down and embody the revolutionaries, the BIEs. Remember the extremists, the woke versus the conscious. It plays out in many places.
Panthers versus the U.S. Or,
Yeah, the Panthers versus us.
Right.
Things like that. So the programming that we've been receiving through our music throughout the decades. Remember, we're 30 years in to the mixtape era, to DMX, to the locks, to everybody saying that they killing babies, tying up, you know what I mean? To 8 million Rich and Poe references. The programming is consistent. We've watched World Star from its earlier days up into now. The things that we've collectively seen in the programming has now manifested. So when you talk about the drill rappers, when you talk about the Bronx drill, when you talk about the rise of the Chicago drill movement and all of that, when you talk about how all of these things come about, I would ask you, is it not the programming? They listened to the same music that we did, and they was like, nah, we gonna make this shit real.
True.
So when we were coming up, we had, we were 13 and 14 and 15, and yes, they was out there laying shit. You feel me? They was out there staining. There was a lot of stains getting taken, but the only thing is that we didn't have multi-million dollar record deals. The whole world wasn't tweeting, watching our tweets. You feel me?
That's right.
We didn't have the audience. The audience that we did have, we put on because it was the whole Flatbush was watching. You still in the Coliseum.
Right. True.
You still in the warfield. It's still Hunger Games. It's still Kill or Be Killed. So
That's true.
the intensity of what it has become is understandable because it represents something that I've seen before. However, now they got phones.
It's right there.
They got millions of followers.
Yep.
They get lit. They talking about shit and they really doing it. So imagine if all of this stuff that you heard the Locks talk about on their mixtapes, there was really word coming back that they was really like Jada was really drilling shit the way that he said.
Fact. And you
Right.
know, you would always check when you ran into Yonkers nigga. You like,
Yo, they really drill. You know what I mean? They
son really
but
putting in that bag.
now life is imitating art. Art is imitating life. The programming is so consistent.
That's true.
And I could point out that there's been programming on this side or on the other side or on what it was considered to be between the thinnest of lines because it's a very thin line. It's almost a quantum field. They coexist together now.
And then think about this, right?
That's what
Oh,
Now one of them niggas got pinched yet, right? Concisely from their lyrics. Now one of them was made example because murder ain't got no statute of limit. And the only way for them to be verified is if your stains can be confirmed. They like, son really put that work in? If it's on YouTube and I could watch it,
Right.
so they got whole episodes
True.
where the niggas is detailing everybody that was caught and they pinning it to somebody who bodied them.
right.
Even if them dudes is still dead, they had accomplices and it would be a walkaway case. None of them joints get prosecuted. So what is that even telling people? It's the same shit that they was being told when Jay was in City Hall in the White House, but this nigga's a known trap racker, you know what I'm saying? Drug dealer in the middle of a drug war.
Yep.
But they never sanctioned or censored or stepped. And now, back then they would be like, who does that? There's no censorship, it's freedom of speech. Try to tell me that right now, right? So what just happened? All of a sudden, we just woke up and there was no more freedom of speech. And that's okay when it comes to us talking about C-19, but someone's in the White House talking about moving, yay, right? I'm just saying, they never saw it. So that was giving them the dog whistle and the subliminal programming to say, oh, shit, coke rap and crack rap, that's the path to freedom. You know what I'm saying? Because you can do it and go and rap about it and you'll never get touched. And it's the same thing with the bodies.
Yeah, because when you look at the results now of what the music has done, oh my gosh. You got these youth don't even want to wear their pants at all now. You know what I'm saying? Like, to the point is that I was like,
Yeah.
you know,
Naked.
they don't even care. You know what I'm saying? Even to what they doing, what they saying, nothing matters to them. You know.
So let me ask you.
They let go of everything.
Keep going, but are we desensitized? Like, does this pattern make the world around it desensitize itself to it? Like,
Yes, I'm saying.
have we seen too much death? It don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We in the
definitely.
Kali Yuga, bro.
You know,
like
yeah.
at the end of the day, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, the reality is that if you lived through some shit and you saw what you saw and you participated in that reality, then this reality shouldn't really shock you because this is something that you are familiar with, right? Especially if you from the streets. It's this what I see is, you know, the quote unquote lack of, you know, elder council, elders for counsel, youth for war.
Right.
When I examine a lot of these cases, it seems that either fate works well with the DAs and the prosecutors, or there's a federal, you know, surveillance, right? Federal Bureau of Investigation. There are some investigators who are surveilling different groups of young black men, and they decide when some of these men begin to wake up, or when they begin to want to, you know, yo, I don't think I want to do this shit anymore. You know, they miraculously start getting caught up in sweeps and whatnot. You know, the feds are come and sweep them up.
They care about those bodies.
And then the youth who are left behind, right? The young warriors. Because remember, when we talking about the Bronx, these are 14, 15, 16, and 17-year-olds. When we talked about when Chief Keef and them was getting busy in Chirac in 2012, 16, 17, 18. When we talk about Brooklyn Drill with Pop Smoke and them, they was 16, 7. Pop Smoke died at 20, right? And looked like he was like 30,
Yeah.
right?
19, yeah.
So what I'm saying is,
Or 20, yeah.
when I was 15, 16, niggas was staining shit. If we had Instagram and YouTube and all of that, people doing YouTube investigations, you know how many bodies they would have been talking about?
For real. That's true.
I come from that. So what I'm saying is I can't act like this shit. Oh my goodness, I don't understand. No, nigga, I understand what it is. And their programming is Grand Theft Auto, right? We didn't get we got Duck Hunt, my nigga.
Right.
Rambo,
Grand
G.I.
Theft Auto,
Joes and
Contra.
whatnot. You know,
The Grand
keep this
Theft
in
Auto
mind.
generation.
Contra, right. And we were programmed from the comic book days and the cartoon days to embrace the anti-hero, right? We were always rooting for the villain. You understand? It's more niggas that wanted to be Decepticons than Autobots.
Right.
It's more people that collected Destro and Cobra Commander than Hawk and Duke,
Right, true.
right? It's more people that was rooting for Venom before they was rooting for Spider-Man. So the anti-hero was sold to us through, you know, the A-Team, Knight Rider, Magnum P.I.,
Yeah.
Miami Vice. These were the subtle, you know what I mean?
True.
They was feeding us, you know, all of this stuff. Remember when Superman went dark?
Yeah.
On part 3?
Bizarro World.
Right, Bizarro World. Like, they were feeding us, and wrestling gave us the anti-hero, right? The comic books gave us the anti-hero,
That's true.
right? The video games rolled out the anti-heroes. So it's like we always was kind of rooting for the villain,
Always.
you know.
This is-
And Darth Vader is us. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. 'Cause
You
the
know.
villain they was always against us anyway.
Break that down.
Right. You know, and we were always villainized.
Villainized.
We were demonized. You know, when they draw about these things in the fantasy industry, these orgs and whatnot, like Angelina Jolie in Moorland, right? She's the queen of the Moors.
Malevolent.
And Maleficent.
Maleficent.
You know, we're the orgs in that came out the mud in Lord of the Rings. You know, where all of these things that they speak of.
The avatars.
Right. So they've demonized
Yes,
the black
indeed.
god. They've demonized the super sapiens and whatnot. They demonize, you know, the erect man. You know what I'm talking about?
That's
They've
true.
demonized Hiram. So the programming is saturated with low self-esteem, doctrine, tricknology, right? Have you forfeiting your birthright and your power and your mind's eye to something that's completely bleached out because you identify as bleached.
True.
So that's the avatar that they give you. That's your anime. They're gonna give you blonde hair, blue eye, because black means bleached and blonde.
Right.
So,
Complete opposite.
you know, that's like anime in Japan. Why is it, you know what I mean, Ken dolls and whatnot? Like, what's that about? Oh my goodness, we got the Trippington. Hold on, the color, the patterns.
I know. I wanted y'all to switch it.
Right.
That's right.
Nah, man, that's some Messiah. We gonna get the sizes right off wax.
Yes,
Yeah,
legend.
that's for y'all too, man. Ancient chemistry. That's a new joint. Third eye open joint.
So you still cooking, my
The
God.
drip.
Yes, sir.
Okay, shout out to, all of this embroidered, okay.
Yeah, but Messiah behind this too. So,
Shout out to Messiah, the legend. I
Salute
see you,
Messiah
King.
Cat,
Salute,
man.
King.
Cigar.
That's what's up. You got the
Wow. Big drip. I fell in love with it. Hey.
Okay.
Right? So, my thing is this. The youth grow. They become wise. If they make it to be the ripe old ages of, 30. As you can see in the Drink Champ interviews, a lot of people that you never would thought would be civilized have been civilized. These old, that's why I love these podcasts that's been popping up, because they're showing you that your hip hop heroes and the people who you was mad scared of when you was listening to them, are articulate, have a great story, could speak from their heart.
That's what
They have wisdom in their. I was listening to Consequence on Drink Champs. Great story, yo. He's one of the illest ghostwriters. Sometimes you forget people's worth and whatnot.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Dude.
I remember seeing Beanie Siegel on the show and whatnot, just talking and whatnot. That was different for me. Like, this is Beans, my nigga. You know what I mean? Like Broad Street Bully.
Yeah.
I remember watching Prodigy dropping gems. My thing is this, going back to what I was saying earlier, we really live in a new world. We the new world order. Because Jay-Z is the face of woke rap. Charlemagne is the face of wokeness. I'm just saying, like, some of your favorite athletes
That's a new world order.
are like
Yeah.
vegan and whatnot. Like there's a wave that we should acknowledge that has covered terraformed, the masses, right?
True.
So when we could complain about the drill and the drillers is drilling and watching YouTube as well. When they see me in blue, they salute us. We the OGs. They do.
That's what's up, for real.
They pulling up. So we can never undermine the collective. This is not about red and blue. We're the twin pillars. We're the twin pillars in which, the light shines through and the arch degree is on top of us.
Yes.
Right?
KT.
So we our vantage point once again is that whenever people got into the building, we was already there. We already set the tables up. Everything was already set up when we got there.
No doubt.
And I know who was there when I got there. I could count them on my hands.
Yes, sir.
So I seen a lot. And I can measure the impact. And the impact is immeasurable. And you can't even put a price tag to it.
Well, it's really
priceless.
can't. No, you can't.
If I decide to cash my check in, I might crash the system.
But
Pay us in crypto though.
that's
So,
I hear that.
the work that Bobby Hemmett has done, the work that Dr. Phil Valentine has done, the work that Dr. Sabi has done, the work that Dr. Delbert Blair has done, the work that Dr. Francis Cress Wilson has done, the work that Dr. Africa has done, the work that the minister has done,
Yes, indeed.
the work that Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali, all of the great ones,
That's true.
Garvey,
Yes,
like
indeed.
the
John
impact.
Clark. John Henry Clark. It's that-
Man has to save himself.
Ben, yeah.
Dr. Ben, they gave you the keys. They laid the quote unquote foundation. It can never be, you can never break that foundation.
Yeah.
And they are amongst the pantheon of the great ones now. They are amongst the pantheons of the ancestors. So now you really can't.
Right, the ones they study.
Right. So there's nothing that you could do
They ain't no
to
ranks
their
there.
energy now.
True, true.
You could summon them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens when the driller starts summoning them? But they got to grow into that first.
Right.
You feel me? It's the Hunger Games. This is their rites of passage.
That's
There's
it.
really nothing we could do about it at this point. But continue to be who we are and continue to build and continue to influence the influencers who are influencing the influential. Right?
True song.
That's how we got to do it. And I promise you, we've created all kind of outs and exits on the highway to motherfucking hell. Right?
True.
And a detour on the road to the riches. Look at all of the information that has flooded the internet about financial literature. Where do you think that comes from? Was that born out of nowhere? Was that not a thought that was planted from the conscious community on numerous occasions?
Yes, sir.
No doubt. For real.
Now it's everything.
Did they not see somebody hopping out of foreigns and doing all of that from this side?
Yeah, that's no real. That's so
Manifesting wealth?
real. All right, we about to seal it up, though.
Yeah, that
No,
part.
that's real, King. Give thanks, because that's flavor.
We
That
going
part.
Gotta
on
keep
that,
it hot,
man.
because that's real, though.
Right, on that note.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
No,
man.
but give
Thanks for
thanks,
coming
though.
through.
Y'all came through and blazed it up and came, yo,
Yes, you done know.
always.
Alright.
Okay? We
The
gotta
title,
know,
or the
man.
title
For real,
like
for
Ting,
real.
Ting Chumps.
Ah,
Yeah,
know,
yes.
right.
We got
Mars
another one.
Another one in, King. Yeah, this is what, episode 7?
7 season 5.
Yeah,
Y'all
that
make sure y'all
magic
tune
was
in.
7.
Yo, we is in. The episode
Thanks
is
for coming
blazing.
through, yeah.
Appreciate my
Yeah.
brethren coming in. And you already know what you did. This is what? The
The
thing
champs.
One love, yo.
One love. One
Us.
love.